Krishna, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful Monday and a good start to the week. So we'll continue reading from Krishna book today. And today's speaker is His Grace Nimai Karuna Prabhu. Prabhuji, just a little introduction about Prabhuji. So Prabhuji got introduced to ISKCON in 2010 in Pune and received Diksha from His Holiness Sadhanath Swami Maharaj in 2016. Prabhu has served in various capacities in both Pune and Singapore, where his services included introducing new people to Krishna consciousness by sharing by deity Shringar and festival decoration. At ISKCON Bergen also, Prabhuji is actively involved in many services like coordinating festivals, introducing new people to Krishna consciousness, marketing, and a lot of services in the background. Professionally, he works as an IT engineer at Barclays. And Prabhuji, personally for me, checks all the boxes of a nice devotee, whereas sadhana, seva, and sadachar. And I personally look up to him for all these different things that he carries so nicely. So let's welcome Prabhuji by coming off mute and loudly chanting Hari Bol 3 times.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
So Nimai Karuna Prabhu, over to you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Kartik reading. So, thank you, Rakta Prabhu. Before starting, I will request all devotees to pray for me. Bless me so that I will be able to speak something. I will start with the prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschata Deshadarine. Vancha Kalpatarubhescha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue reading on this Krishna book. So today's chapter is chapter 82, entitled as Lord Krishna and Balaram meets the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So till now we have seen like Krishna initially when he was born, and then he went to Gokul, to Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata's home in Vrindavan, and then again he goes back to Dwarka. So now he's in Dwarka, Gopis, Gopas, and Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mata, they are in Vrindavan, and they're like, and they're in mood of separation, and they're not able to survive in Vrindavan. But somehow Krishna makes some arrangement so that he'll be able to meet all Brajavasis. So today's talk will be more over on that one. So when Krishna and Balaram both, they were staying in Dwarka. So it once happened that there was solar eclipse, and now this eclipse falls only once in a day of Brahma, in life of a Brahma, sorry. And this eclipse is still Swargaloka, so all the clouds, they are covering the sun, and then it is said like at this particular period, even from astrological perspective, one should not sit at home, they should go at some holy places. So when this news started spreading across whole Bharatvarsha, including Dwarka, so all residents, they started thinking, okay, let's go to Kurukshetra. And there is very beautiful place in Kurukshetra, this Samanta Panchaka. Now, to give some background on this Samanta Panchaka, so here Lord Parshuram, who is one of the avatar out of 10 avatars, so when he killed many Kshatriyas, so there was a lot of blood which was flowing, and then this all blood was going somewhere. So Parshuram, he went into this particular place, Samanta Panchaka, and there are 5 ponds there. And then he was doing some austerity or trying to do atonement. Now there might be question, Lord Parshuram is avatar, and then why he is doing this? Because he wants to show that killing is not a normal thing, that there was external reason like why Parshuram needs to kill so many Kshatriyas, but then once he killed so many Kshatriyas, he was doing so much of sacrifice in this place, Samanta Panchaka. So all these Bharatvarsha men and women, they started going to this particular place. So now taking advantage of this occasion, like different people, especially the one who are in Dwarka, they started coming to this particular place. Now this Yadu dynasty is very huge and they are very royal and opulent. As we see today also in Dwarkadish, the way they do the Shringar of Dwarka is very opulent. So similarly, these Yadus they are very opulent. They start coming to this particular place on their horses. There are so many people are there. They are accompanied with their wives. So many instruments are getting played, and then they came to this particular place. As soon as they reached to this particular place in Samanta Panchaka, they, as per ritual and as per Vedic principle, they first take a bath, and then when the eclipse starts, then it is being recommended that during eclipse period one should not eat and one should take the names, holy name, and one should give some charity. So as this Yadu dynasty is very royal, so they in this particular eclipse period, they started giving charity to the Brahmanas. Now this charity was like many of the things were there, gold and like money and everything, but the most important charity they were doing in this particular eclipse period was they were donating the cows, and there were 100 of cows they donated to these Brahmins. And now these cows are not normal cows, because these cows were dressed wonderfully with garlands, and then they were wearing gold in the ankles. So many things, so many beautifully they decorated all these cows and they donated to these Brahmanas. As soon as the period of this eclipse was over, and as per Vedic principles, as per ritual, all these Yadus, they took the bath, and then as soon as they completed their bathing rituals, they prayed, and then after praying, the first thing they did is like they started feeding the Brahmanas. Now, Prabhupada says here that when we serve anything there, and we studied in Vaishnava etiquette also, there is some particular sequence or particular food item to be served. So they served both raw food and cooked food. So raw food, like they serve salads and fruits, and in cooked food they serve puris and kachuris and samosas, so and so forth. And they started serving these Brahmanas. There were so many Brahmanas were there, but these Yadus, like as per following the Vedic principles, they were serving and serving these Brahmanas until they are full and satisfied. And then as per Vedic principle, like when any particular person is serving the Brahmana, and once these Brahmanas are completed their prasad, so it's basic etiquette that the one who has invited this Brahmana should take their permission, take their blessings. Okay, you have honored prasadam. Are you satisfied? And then if everything is okay, can now we have prasadam? So they followed all these rituals, and then these Yadus, they started taking prasadam. Once the prasadam was over, they went for a rest for a while, and when they took the rest, now from overall Bharatvarsha, different people started coming, different visitors started coming, and then it has been mentioned in this particular chapter that there are so many visitors, so many kings, so many princes from Madras, from Kerala province, from this and that province. Everyone started coming, along with Vrajvasis also. So for these Yadus, these Vrajvasis were most prominent. Others were also important, but for them, this Vrajvasis was important. And when this thing was going on, like many different people were coming. So here, those who are juniors, they were offering obeisances to elders, and then elders were offering their blessings to the juniors. So this we have seen in Vaishnava etiquette also, like the one who are more spiritualized or one who are senior in bhakti, they always give blessings to juniors, and juniors always seek submissively instructions. And so similar thing was happening here also. And then whatever discussions were going on between all of these people, So there was no mundane or political thing which they were discussing. They were all discussing about pastimes of Krishna. They were discussing about different avatars of Krishna. They were discussing about Parshuram. They were discussing about Narasimhadev. They were discussing about so many other leelas they were discussing. So whole of the atmosphere, you can just imagine that at one Kurukshetra, there are so many people, so many devotees are there. This whole Yadu dynasty is there. And then there is also one thing Prabhupada mentioned, that when Yadu dynasty came here, not everyone came there. There are few percentage of the people who were in Dwarka. And the reason here it is stated in chapter, they were in Dwarka because they want to protect that province. So actually external, there is no requirement for anyone to stay in Dwarka, because Krishna was already there. Krishna is there. Physically, Krishna is present in this Bharatvarsha. But just to follow that, right, someone should stay there in the province so that no one can attack and to protect. So some people were there in Dwarka. But whosoever came from Dwarka and from all over the Bharatvarsh, they were just discussing about Krishna activities. So the environment was full of Krishna conscious. And then other devotees starts coming. Then there is Vasudeva is coming and Kunti Devi, and so many people are coming. And then there is very beautiful discussion which happens between Kunti Devi and Vasudeva. So in midst of this Krishna conscious environment, Kunti Devi, they both are brother and sister, Kunti Maharani, Vasudeva. And then she says, my dear brother, you never inquired what we did when we were banished by Dhritarashtra and Dronacharya, and what happened to us, how we survived, what we ate and everything. And then she continues saying that, okay, I can understand if the supreme person is against us, or the providence or situation is such that we are in trouble. So even our parents or even our children will not support us. And then she's at the same time, she is accusing or blaming Vasudeva that he has not inquired, you never asked us like how we are. And at last she says, anyways, Vasudeva, I'm not blaming you or accusing you that you're not inquired, because it was our karma that we need to face that. And then Vasudeva very nicely, Vasudeva, he is none other than father of, like Krishna chose them as his father. So Vasudeva replies, Kunti Maharani, she says, see sister, it's not like if I inquire, your situation will be good, but we are all instruments and part and parcel of Krishna. So you need to, like whatever Supreme Personality God wants to do, we need to be an instrument. So whatever test you've gone through, that was your test. And then he says that you are aware that Kansa was ruling us, but due to causeless mercy of Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna, we are all now staying very nicely and calmly. There is no problem for us. So as soon as Krishna and Balaram, they came to Dwarka from Vrindavan, they killed so many demons. So there is no point of blaming anyone. And so this conversation goes on between Kunti Devi and Vasudeva. And then people are relishing these pastimes. And as soon as every one of these, now here Krishna and Balaram comes into this particular area. And then as soon as everyone, Vasudeva, Kunti Devi, and everyone, they sees Krishna and Balaram, they feel so much joyful and they feel so much pleasure. And this is the quality of Krishna, that as soon as when we see deities in the center, when we see Radha, Shyam Sundar, Gaurnita, we feel so peaceful, because there is some different transcendental, because everything comes from Krishna. So whatever discussions they were going on, so they stop and they are just seeing Krishna, and then Krishna is reciprocating with their individuals level of surrender. And then all the Vedic hymns, everyone, all Brahmanas, they started glorifying Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And it was so such that everyone is all together taking names of Krishna, doing different bhajans, and then so spiritual atmosphere. So it is said like the Ganges water, they are most purest. Why? Because it has touched the nail of Krishna, it has touched the lotus feet of Krishna. And the Vedas are all purifying. Why? Because Veda, they teach us who is Krishna. So it is said like Vedas, Bhagavad Gita is nothing but our mother. Because the mother, the Vedas can tell us, okay, who is our father, who is our supreme father. And then all conclusion of the Vedas, be it Bhagavatam, be it Chaitanya Charitamrita, be it Bhagavad Gita, whatever Upanishad, there is, the conclusion is like, oh, our supreme personality of God, our father is none other than Sri Krishna. So this Ganges water and this are purifying because Krishna is always there in that. And then now all the visitors seeing Krishna and discussing all these things, they started glorifying Yadus. So they says like these Yadus, they are not normal people because life after life they need to perform some austerity, and then they need to do some nice karma, and that is the reason they are now associating with Krishna. They are staying with Krishna, they are eating with Krishna, their whole day 24/7 they are just serving Krishna. And then they start glorifying like anything all the visitors to Yadu. So Krishna was there, but then they like directly appreciating Krishna, they were glorifying Yadus. So this is the nature of Das Anudas. Like Krishna feels happy if devotees is glorified. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, daily he was going to Tota Gopinath and asking Gadadhara Pandit, who is Srimati Radharani, that please tell me pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj. So here Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is asking Radharani to glorify his own loving devotee. So similarly here, different visitors, they are glorifying Yadu dynasty like anything, that you Yadus, you follow everything, you follow all rituals, and then due to your pious activities, you are at lotus feet of Krishna. And that was the reason why Yadus were always happy. And now, as soon as this news is spreaded, even the Vrajvasis, they start, because now they are bereft in not seeing Krishna and Balaram. So as soon as the news spreads in Vrindavan also, so gopis, gopas, even cows, it is said, headed by Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata, they all comes in their cart. And then once they reach there, as soon as they reach there, so these Yadus, they welcome like anything to Brajvasis. And it is mentioned very beautifully that all Yadu men, they start meeting the Brajvasis boys, and then they embrace each other, they hug each other, and then tears starts flowing because this Yadus has very intimate relationship with Brajvasis. And then at some particular time, few of the men are speechless, they are not able to speak anything because they are feeling Krishna in each of these Yadus. And then they all started discuss different pastimes. And as soon as Vasudev, when he sees Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Baba, he runs and then he embraces Nanda Maharaj. And then he starts speaking about Krishna pastimes, like how Krishna was born. And then immediately when he was born, Supreme Personality of Godhead instructed Vasudeva that, okay, you take Krishna to, you take this child, cross this river, and then put him in Nanda Baba's and Yashoda Mata's home. And then he says, Vasudeva, that Nanda Maharaj, you know, this Krishna, like before seeing their real parents, me and Devaki, he first took your and Yashoda Mata's darshan. So they, again, their center of discussion was only what? Krishna and Krishna. So they were just discussing about Krishna, so many pastimes they're discussing. At the same time, the women, they all started embracing each other. Yadus, all the women from Yadu dynasty, and then all the women from Brajvasis, gopis, and Yashoda Mata, they all started discussing with each other about Krishna, Balaram. They started inquiring about Krishna and Balaram. And then as soon as Devaki and Rohini Mata, so Devaki is mother of Krishna and Rohini is mother of Balaram, they sees Yashoda Mata, they immediately embraces Yashoda Mata. And then here Devaki Mata says to Yashoda Mata that in my life, never in my any of the lives, I will not be able to repay you what you have done to me and how much affection you have given to me and my Krishna and Balaram. And then she says that when Krishna and Balaram were in Vrindavan, there was no pinch of difficulty for them. They were so happy because in Vrindavan, Krishna and Balaram were always playing with gopis in Madhurya Bhav. They were playing with gopas in Sakya Bhav. They were playing with monkeys in Dasya Bhav. They were getting protected or sheltered by Nanda Baba and Yashoda in Vatsalya Bhav. So they were always doing Krishna. So as we see in Krishna book that Krishna and Balaram, like they were very small, they were always enjoying in Vrindavan. There was no difficulty for them. And then Devaki says that as soon as they came to Dwarka, they need to fight so much, they need to kill this demon, there is so this and that difficulty is coming. And then she says that, Yashoda Mata, you are real mother of my son Krishna and Balaram. No one can match your dedication. Due to your protection and due to your guidance, today my Krishna and Balaram, they are like this. And then we can understand here one point which acharyas comment that now Krishna and Balaram are, Krishna is supreme personality Godhead and Balaram is like first expansion. And then here this Vrajvasis and this Yadu dynasty, what they are saying, oh, this is your son, this is your Sakha, and this is this and that. So this is what difference between the materialist and spiritualist. So spiritualists, especially the Vrajvasis, they never consider Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead. They always think, oh, this Krishna is none other than our Sakha, or Yashodavara thinks he is son. She never says, oh, he's God. She always says, oh, he's just a little boy. And then this is how the Vrajvasis and this Yadu dynasty are discussing with each other. And then as soon as Krishna and Balram, now they seize Yashoda Mata and Nanda Baba, they immediately go, they give their danvat to them, and then they embrace Yashoda Mata and Devaki. Now, the level of separation, what Brajvasis are feeling, similarly, that level of separation, even Krishna and Balram was having. And as soon as Krishna and Balram sees Yashoda Mata and Nanda Baba, there are tears coming from Krishna and Balaram for separation, and then they embrace Nanda Baba and Yashoda. Even though we have seen so many pictures, even of Yashoda Damodar, that Yashoda Mata always let Damodar Krishna sit on her lap. And now Krishna and Balaram are grown up in Dwarka, but in this instance again, somehow Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata makes that arrangement that Krishna and Balaram is sitting their lap, and then they are discussing different past and different stories of how they were naughty in Vrindavan and what all activities they were doing. So these all discussions were going on, and in this discussion, it comes that gopis are standing. Now, Yashoda Mata met, Gopas met, cows met, everyone met, Nanda Baba met. So the gopis, those are very on the higher level, they are just very behind. So this is the quality of a gopis, that they are always serving Krishna in bhav of das anudas. And then as soon as these gopis, they see Krishna and Balram, who are their life and soul, so tears starts flowing from the gopis, because so much time has passed, and then they're not able to see Krishna and Balram. And then from mentally, these all gopis, they embrace Krishna because they were having so much love. Sometimes we are not able to even embrace or feel Krishna externally, but these gopis are so on highest level that just mentally they embrace Krishna. And now we can imagine the situation, or like in this particular area, Krishna Balaram is sitting, and then Vasudeva Devaki are there, Nanda Baba Yashoda Mata are there, and Krishna Balaram is sitting on lap of this. And now while this discussion, Krishna makes such arrangement that Yashoda Mata and Devaki and Vasudeva, they all are now speaking to each other, and Krishna in that fraction of period, then he leaves that particular place and then goes to the gopi. And then Krishna starts inquiring to gopis that how are they, is everything okay with them? And then Krishna also mentally embraces them, because Krishna is aware that gopis are just waiting for me. And then there's a lot of discussion between gopis and Krishna. And then Krishna explains so many things to Gopi. He starts explaining that why Krishna and Balaram, they need to be away from Vrindavan. So there are so many reasons which Acharya says, and in this chapter, as Srila Prabhupada says, that the basic reason which Krishna is explaining to Gopis, that they says that we were having some duties to be done for our seniors. And that was the major reason we need to go. We need to protect this province, this Bharatvarsha, because there are so many demons. They were creating so many issues. So that was our first primary duty to protect. And so Krishna says that we went there, and then Krishna says that the other reason was because I was aware that when you don't see me, then you will love me more, then you will feel more separation. And I want to taste that separation, because that will be most intense separation. So we can understand that this pastime is very well related to Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri. So what is Rath Yatra? Basically, Rath Yatra is nothing but like Krishna is sitting in Dwarka, in Sri Mandir, and then when real Leela happened in Dwapar Yuga, so here Krishna and Balaram were in Dwarka, and then they all were coming to Vrindavan. So similarly here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he goes to Jagannath Puri, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Radha and Krishna. So, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes in front of Jagannath Ji, so Jagannath Ji is crying, or he is acting as Krishna in separation of Radharani, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he becomes Radharani fully, and he's crying in separation of Krishna. And then as soon as Jagannath Ji comes on the chariot, on the Rath in Jagannath Puri, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his associates, they are pulling this Rath. They are taking Krishna. So Radharani herself is taking Krishna to Gundicha Mandir, that is Vrindavan. So this pastime is very well connected to that, and then Krishna again starts explaining, giving them further reason that whole this manifestation, whatever is created, this is my energy. So both material and spiritual energy is running as per me, and then there is always a reason why this type of situation comes. But one who understands, one who can bypass this all dualities of good and bad, and then suffering and happiness, Krishna says he is the real sadhu. And then Krishna continues explaining gopis that I'm not sure whether once I was away from Vrindavan, whether you have stopped loving me. So Krishna is from heart, he is aware that no, gopis cannot leave Krishna. But the Krishna starts questioning Gopi, because Krishna loves the separation of Gopi, and Krishna loves how Gopi responds and serve. So immediately when Gopi hears that Krishna is thinking, oh, we might have forgotten Krishna because Krishna was not here. So gopis start praying to Krishna. They says, no, Krishna, this is not at all possible. And we are very happy in Vrindavan actually, because we are serving our family. And that is not a fraction of second where we have forgotten you. We always remember you. Whatever activities we do, whatever we do serving in our home in Vrindavan, we are always remembering you. And then Srimati Radharani, she talks to Krishna here, and then she says that, Krishna, I know you asked me to come along with you to Dwarka, but I don't want to enjoy that royalty, because Dwarka is full of royal opulences. And Radharani says, no, Krishna, I don't want to enjoy our pastimes, loving pastimes in Dwarka, because that is very much royal. I like to be in Vrindavan, because the dust of Vrindavan, the air of Vrindavan is so good that I want to taste all pastimes in Vrindavan only. And then Gopi and Radharani, they praise Krishna, we are just waiting for you. It's not like we have forgotten, we are always remembering you. Now Krishna is aware for sure that yes, Radharani and Gopas all are always remembering Krishna. And then this is how Gopi, they are requesting Krishna indirectly, that Krishna, we are waiting for you, but Krishna, don't doubt on us. Like you are always in our heart, and we just like thinking like when you will be back and we will be again doing Rasa Leela. Gopas are thinking, oh Krishna, when you will come and you will go to graze the cows. And the cows are thinking, oh Krishna, when you will come and then you will take us to graze. And then Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata, they are thinking, oh Krishna, when you will come. Yashoda Mata is thinking, when I will get again chance, Krishna, to serve you, to feed you, and then to make butter for you, makhan for you. So this is how this Krishna, Balaram, they are like, so properly they are meeting with Vrajvasi, and this whole atmosphere, Yadus are seeing that how beautifully these Vrajvasis are now doing their loving exchange with Krishna and Balaram, and then everyone gets so much in transcendental situation that, oh, this is what the perfect love is. So this is what the story is like. Krishna, Balaram, after some time, he prepares this arrangement of eclipse, and then here Yadu dynasty goes, and then here Vrajvasis also come, and then all Vrajvasis, they first meet to Yadu dynasty, and then Krishna, Balaram, they meet with Yashoda Mata and Nanda Baba, and then how gopis meet, gopas meet. So this is what the story is. Now, there are many lessons in this particular story. First, we can see like the place where everyone gathered there. Parshuram, who is an avatar, he itself did some austerity because he wanted to prove that killing of any living entity is not allowed. It is prohibited. And if by any chance, if that is done, then we need to do some atonement for that. That is very important. That now Parshuram, he is Vishnu Tattva, and it is mentioned in Shastra that for Vishnu Tattva they don't become contaminated. But here Lord Parshuram, he want to show to people like us that no, healing is not proper, and we should not heal anyone. And if we do that, we will get that karma. Going to pilgrimage is most important. Like whenever some auspicious activities or festivals are there, we should try to go to the pilgrimage. Now here pilgrimage means according to time, place and circumstances, we might not be in India now, because Mathuravas Prabhupada says is most important when any festival something comes. In Kartik Mass, Prabhupada recommends Mathuravas is important. But then Acharya and Prabhupada used Tika that even though if we are in Mathura and then internally we are not in Mathura, we are satisfying our senses, then there is no use of Mathuravas. So the lesson from this is that when all these Yadus, Brajvasis, they heard about this particular pastime, because they were aware Krishna and Balaram will come. So their main motive was to see Krishna and Balaram in this particular area. So whenever we get an opportunity, whenever there is any function or something is every Sunday we have program in center. So it's our duty that we should go, because there is what we can see Radha Shyam Sundar, we can see Nimai Nitai, we can see Prabhupada. We get an opportunity to associate with devotees. We get an opportunity to do some seva. We get an opportunity to offer lamb to Yashoda Mother. We get an opportunity to chant. We get an opportunity to learn. We get an opportunity to hear. So this is very important, that starting from this particular period where Yadus and everything. So there is no need of Rajvasis to do so many austerity and go to holy place because they are in Vrindavan. But why they are going? Because they are going just for Krishna. So Krishna should be center of everything. Next is that we should do so much pious activities that we should go back to Godhead. So there is example Prabhupada writes here that karmi versus spiritualist. So when Yadus were giving charity and feeding Brahmana, so karmis might think externally what they are doing show off by giving so much of donation, by giving so much of charity. People say, oh, you Hare Krishna, you only speak Hare Krishna, you don't have any duty. Externally they might think, because these karmis, they are always on satisfying their own senses. If they do some charity, so I remember once, like we were printing calendars in Pune temple. So few of the donors, they were karmis, and they said, we are okay to donate all of these calendars for this year, provided you put our name in the sponsored by. So they want to advertise themselves rather than showing Krishna, giving Krishna to everyone. So whatever charity or whatever activities these karmis do, they have some intention, and this intention are just to satisfy their senses. They want something back from that advertisement, from that charity. They want their name and fame. But we, as a Krishna conscious family, as ISKCON family, Prabhupada teaches us that we need to do all our activities as a selfless service. We just need to do to satisfy senses of Krishna, because Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. He is the controller. We are not the enjoyer. So if we do pious activities, if we always do selfless seva, then it's very easy for us to go back to God. And Krishna's, like when he was doing conversation with gopis, he says this point, he clears this point very nicely. He says that if any person, if any soul who is selflessly serving me, who is accepting me as it is, then I will make sure that he comes back to me. This is words of Krishna. This is word of Radharani. This month is the authority, or the head of this month is Radharani. So whatever pious activity do in this month, Radharani is 100% will bless us and take us back to Godhead. Next is fasting and charity is needed to purify ourselves. So many people ask, like, why you fast so much and why you do so much of donation? Because when we give charity, when we do fasting, charity is by giving money. Charity is also by bowing down. Charity is also by inviting the guest. So when we bow down to someone, then our ego is like going on. Like whatever ego, we have so much ego, at least I have so much ego. So when we bow down, we get an opportunity to minimize this ego. And when we give charity, it is said like when we give charity or money, that our money becomes pure because that is used in service of Krishna. But charity should be given at proper place where it will be used in service of Krishna. And fasting helps us to control our senses. It helps to control our tongue. So that is very important in this. And we can see here at the time of that eclipse, the whole of the Yadu dynasty, they were fasting. So why they're fasting? Because Krishna was there. Now someone might question that Krishna is already there with them. Why they need to do so much? Because they want to prove, Krishna wants to prove you with this Yadus and then Brajvasis that how much they love and how much they are doing for us. We always say that, oh, we don't have time for chanting, we don't have time for hearing or reading. But then Prahlad Maharaj says that out of 24 hours, he divides time very nicely, and he says it's our choice. Krishna never interferes in our will. It's our choice that whether we want to accept a good path or bad path. And based upon path we select, we purify or impure ourselves. Next is give Krishna to everyone. Don't be envious if other gets mercy. So this we can see in this past time that when Yadus and Brajvasis, they were meeting. So there were so many other kings which came from Madras province, Kerala province. They were not envious seeing that, oh, this Brajvasis and Yadus or this Krishna is speaking to gopis or Krishna is speaking to Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata. They are sitting on their lap. No, no one was envious because their center of attraction was Krishna. And then devotees, especially, they feel very happy if some devotees gets mercy. So we should never feel envious if suppose someone is progressing in bhakti. Rather, we should become their servant and we should try to inquire them submissively that, oh Prabhu, oh Mataji, you are doing so much good. Please help us to understand how we can also do some of the seva. So this is how we, like if we distribute Krishna, Prabhupada says that our movement, our ISKCON movement is preaching movement. So it's not like, yes, mujhe pata chal gaya, who is Krishna, who am I not this body, am I soul? Now we need to spread this knowledge because Krishna feels happy when we spread this to everyone else. So we discussed is that we should not be a karmi. We should apply spirituality or apply devotional services. We should follow proper Vaishnava etiquette while inviting guests. So we see in this particular pastime when these Yadus, they were receiving the guest or they were feeding the Brahmana, they were following all etiquettes unless Brahmana has completed their food and everything. Till that time, none of the Yadus, they took any prasad. They requested these Brahmanas that, okay, Brahmana, hope we were able to serve you. And then if by your permission now, can we also have prasad? So these are the proper etiquettes that how we can see Krishna Balaram first met Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai, and then he went to gopis, and how beautifully everyone were discussing about Krishna pastime. So if any guest come, like we are not sure Atiti, like we discussed in Vaishnava etiquette, Krishna can come in any form. So we should make such an arrangement. We should welcome each and every guest, even though if he's the demon. Prabhupada says he should feel so much happiness at our home that he's willing to come again and again at our home, and then he forgets, oh, we were demon, we are fighting with each other. So that is very important. Next is our mood should be always of servant, inquiring submissively. So similarly, where we see an example of Vasudeva and Kunti Maharani, and then we see example where Krishna was instructing gopis and gopi were replying. So gopis were not like, hey Krishna, how you can tell that we have forgot? No, Krishna, gopis very firmly, they said, no Krishna, we have never forgotten and we are ready to be in Vrindavan. More separation is okay, but you're always there in our heart. So it's always necessary that when we go at least in front of our spiritual master, we should inquire submissively, and we should always be in a mood of servant, even though if we are aware of so many things. But when we go in front of seniors, we always like, okay, Prabhu, can you please help to understand or to help me to get understanding on this particular pastime, or I'm not qualified to get this, so can you help me? Because the more you be humble, the more you get Krishna bhakti. Now devotional service rendered to Krishna automatically produces perfect knowledge. So these all points, if we follow all these above points, when we do devotional service, when we give all our results, or we do selfless service, then Krishna will automatically give us knowledge, and then we will be able to transcend this repeated birth and death, which is our ultimate motive. Next is we need to understand that Krishna is only supreme control enjoyer. We are just his instrument. So where Vasudev, he explains Kunti Maharani that whatever is happened, it is by will of Krishna, and then we need to surrender. So we should always be an instrument in hands of Krishna. The reason why we are suffering this material world is not Krishna is partial, Krishna has sent us. It's we, when we were with Krishna, we thought, no, Krishna, we want to enjoy apart from you. And then Krishna says, okay, no problem. You can go and you can enjoy. And this is how our suffering starts in this material world. But Krishna is so merciful that Krishna comes again and again in different avatars, so that he teaches us. Krishna either comes himself or he sends his pure devotee. For us is Srila Prabhupada. Without Prabhupada, we were not today here and hearing. And I was not aware of Kartik month before I came to ISKCON. So this is all mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and where it came from Krishna. So we need to understand that Krishna is the only controller and enjoyer. We are just his instruments. If we have full firm faith on this, that okay, I just want to satisfy Krishna, his senses, then it's very easy for us to do, like, balance our material world and spiritual world. The only reason of our suffering is that we feel, okay, no, I can enjoy without Krishna. And then Krishna says, okay, if you are feeling that, yesterday we have heard that when Yashoda Mata was feeding Krishna, and then she saw that milk is boiling, she went, and Harish Ori, who is in line in Tukaram Maharaj lineage, so he writes in commentary that in our life also, if in between, if we leave Krishna, then we need to suffer, we need to come to this material world. But then Krishna is waiting for us. He is our Supreme Father. He wants us to come back, and he accepts us if we surrender him again. And then it is also said, like, the personalities, the spiritualists, they never discriminate between their son and other son, because they are aware that we are not this body, we are soul. So here we can see when Devaki and Rohini, mother of Krishna and Balaram, they were discussing with Yashoda Mata. So what she said, yes, Yashoda Mata, you are real mother of Krishna and Balaram, because you have given so much love and protection to them. So the one who is on spiritual platform, they will never discriminate, this is mine or this is yours. No, they are out of concept of me and mine. And once we migrate, or once we like go above me and mine, then we transcend everything. And this is the quality of a noble personality. And then in Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichena, that we need to be very much humble if we want to get this position. So being humble is one of the most important quality. And when we can become humble, then when we minimize our ego. We have so much ego, this is mine, this is my body, this is my car, this is my family runs only due to me. But we should not have this ego. And this is how Devaki and everyone is appreciating Yashoda Mata, because Yashoda Mata was always in mood of serving Krishna in Vatsalya Bhav. And then it says that the conscience of living entity who falsely presents himself, like who thinks himself as the enjoyer in the material world, are known as Jiva Kosha. And as they consider themselves as the controller, they consider themselves as the enjoyer, and then they suffer, and they're called as Jiva Kosha. So we need to go out of this Jiva Kosha. And then here we can see whatever kings and everyone was here in this particular Leela, they were only discussing about Krishna. They were not discussing, oh, my king is in my kingdom, this is going on. No, they were not discussing about their external affairs. They were just discussing about Krishna, because they were aware that Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer, and we need to satisfy those senses. And ultimately, we need to be absolutely dependent upon his will. And then it is said, like, the real independence, we celebrate independence in almost every country. But real independence is when we depend fully on Krishna. That is our real independence. And here we can see how gopis, they are fully dependent on Krishna. They say, no, Krishna, we are okay. Like, if you take more time to come back to Vrindavan, Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mata, they are always waiting, because they are fully dependent on Krishna. They have full faith that, yes, Krishna, you will come back, and we will get a chance to serve. So similarly for us also, in our life, the law of duality is there, that sometimes we get suffering, sometimes we get happiness, sometimes we suffer. So we should not blame Krishna that, or we should not live So suppose if we are chanting and if we get some negative thoughts while chanting, many devotees, they say, or many people, that those who are very new to this movement, they say that as soon as we are coming to this movement or we start chanting, we get very negative thoughts. Why? The reason is very simple. Acharya says that initially when we are completely engrossed in material world, we don't understand our existence, who we are. But as soon as we start chanting, we come to know, okay, we are not this body, we are soul. And then this Maya Devi, the energy of Krishna, when he was discussing with gopis, he was telling that this Maya Devi is also my energy, and I'm only sending this energy to take your test. So we need to pass this test, and we need to depend only on Krishna. And when we depend fully on Krishna, then we pass this test also. Actually, Maya Devi, when she was giving this instruction from Krishna, she says, Krishna, how I can test someone who is coming to you? Krishna says, no, it's my order. You need to go and take test, because you will make them or bring them more closer to me. So devotees, like we get so many tests in our life, like while chanting, while reading, while hearing. But if we are very firm, if we associate with like-minded people, those who can show us correct path, then it's very easy to go beyond this body, and then ultimately depend on Krishna, depend on Guru. And then when we depend upon Guru and Shastra, then this Shastra, these Vedas will tell us, okay, when we start reading these scriptures, then this Shastra will help us to take us to our Supreme Father, who is none other than Krishna. And then it is, Krishna says here that the unalloyed devotional service and affection for me, that is Krishna, are the cause of supreme liberation. So if we follow all these principles, and if we see from this particular pastime how beautifully each Vrajavasis, they are just appreciating Krishna, they are just waiting to see Krishna and Balaram. They have forgot everything in Vrindavan, what activities they were doing. They just came to see Krishna, Balaram, and how Krishna is reciprocating all Vrajavasis. So if it completely surrender, if you perform devotional service to Krishna, if you are affectionate towards Krishna, it's very easy for us to get supreme liberation. So thank you all very much for giving me opportunity, and please forgive for any mistakes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nimai, Karuna, for the nice presentation. I think we're a little over time.
Sorry, Prabhu, for that.
That's fine. No, that's fine. Ram Tulsi Prabhu, do we have time for a quick question or a comment, or shall we just close it off here?
You can take one if anyone has.
Okay. If anyone has any one question or a comment, you can come off mute, and because I can't see hand raise here. So if you want to just come off mute and ask your question or comment. Okay, and if not, then we thank everyone for joining today's session. I know it's a working day, so we appreciate everyone's participation. And thank you, Nimai Karuna, for the nice presentation again, and we hope to see everyone tomorrow at 8:30 again as we continue reading from Krishna book. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.